Hello, friends! Welcome back. Today I would like to speak about remembering your sense of humor as you navigate your soul's journey through this very exciting and surprising and strange dimension that we like to call planet Earth. Okay, so I know some of you have been just missing my videos, and I wasn't sure what to talk about today. So yesterday I did some readings, as I do, and you guys, it has been exactly 6 years since I started my work as a full-time psychic. Thank you, God, Source, the Universe, the angels, everyone, for supporting this. Thank you to all who have been a part of this journey. And I did a reading for a beloved client of mine, and she said, "Oh, thank you so much." And she replied, but one thing that she said that really stuck out to me was she said, "Maya, one of the things that I most appreciate about you is your sense of humor, and your readings always make me laugh." And that made me happy because that was actually my intention when I first started out. And that was my agreement with my guides and angels. Because in my little heart of hearts, I had a real strong sense that I might have been put on this planet to be a messenger for spirit. From the very beginning. Main reason being, seeing the spirits all the time. So anyway, but it took a lot of journeying in my life to mature enough to be able to take this step to do this work. I needed to have a life experience of my own and go through all kinds of stuff. And one day I'll tell you all about some of the really intense things I have gone through. There's so much that you guys don't know. But anyway, I needed to live life and navigate life from my soul before I could advise others in doing the same. So when I really got old enough to really start to feel okay, I think I might be able to at least do one reading or something like that, my own guides said, "Okay, Maya Joy, go ahead. We will support you in getting started a little at a time. But our agreement with you is that you need to deliver the readings with joy. You need to bring joy. That's the most important thing. Number one thing is to bring joy. And, aliveness and enthusiasm to people for their soul's journey." And I said, "Okay, I will do that." And over the past 6,000 readings, I have tried, and there's good days and bad days and everything else. But I have found that humor is really a great healer. When we can really laugh at stuff, especially ourselves and our own attempts to navigate these journeys. And when you really think about what's going on, it is kind of funny. The whole thing is kind of pretty funny. When you if you really, really think about what are we doing? First of all, okay, before we incarnate, we already know everything that's going to happen. Okay, we already know everything that's going to happen. And we also already know all the divine truths and everything. So the whole idea that we even thought it would be a good idea to come to a place like this where these sorts of things are going on, and I don't even have to mention what these things are, just watch the news. We decided that we would like to come here to the most chaotic, this is a circus, this is a clown house that we're in right now, and we would like to practice these things that we already know how to do. It's so, we were in the higher realms, and we were learning compassion, and we're sitting and listening to our soulmates talk, and they're "Oh, in my last life, I went through this horrible experience where I lost my mother," and we're "Oh my gosh, I feel so much love for you. And I feel so much love for you, and I feel so much compassion for you." And our guides were "Okay, very good. Yes, you've done it. You understand compassion now. I've got a challenge for you." like you go down to this earth plane where, you know, now suddenly we're going to put you in really like the compassion Olympics, and we're going to put you, there's going to be this exciting thing, and it's going to be called the Instagram or Facebook or whatever, and we're going to give you that same soulmate who is sitting next to you in the higher realms with whom you felt deep compassion. And we are going to have that person repeatedly call you into arguments and say terrible things to you on this imaginary messaging platform called Instagram or Facebook over and over again. And meanwhile, we're actually going to erase your memory of all the lessons that you ever learned about compassion and erase your memory that this person is actually your most beloved soulmate. And we're going to see if, like, you could still feel compassion. How do you feel about that? And your crazy soul is like, sign me up right now. That sounds amazing. I'm going to make you so proud. Just watch me. Like, I'm going to know, like, when I see that person's little picture on this Instagram that you tell me about, I'm going to know. I'm going to know it's Susie, my favorite soulmate. I could never miss Susie. And then all of a sudden, like, we're in, like, actual life. And Susie is, like, her name is Susie still. So many people like choose the same names over and over again. Her name is Suzanne. We'll change it a little bit. So it's Suzanne, and Suzanne is like, oh my God, like, how could you post that? You are just like so ugly. And what you said there about the divine, like, you're wrong. Like, actually, this is true. And you probably should stop posting because you don't know what you're talking about. And we are like, oh my God, this Suzanne is a horrible soul. Like, how could anybody be like this and stuff like that? And our guides are like nudging us, and they're like, come on, like, compassion. Like, remember, it's like compassion. And we're like, I'm going mad because my brain is saying compassion. Like, my brain is saying compassion, and like, well, how could I ever have compassion for someone like this? Someone so mean and harsh, and I hope all the terrible things come upon that person. And so then our guides are like, okay, well, they're like remembering back, and they're like, oh man, like, but they said they wanted a challenge, you know, they wanted a challenge to like remember compassion. And so then they send us the next person and the next person who calls us out in all these different ways to see if we can still remember the lesson of compassion for those who are at a different state of consciousness or who have become judgmental due to their harsh life circumstances or whatever else, right? And the whole thing is like really funny. It really is, like, because it's like we so often stand right in the face of these moments that align with like the sensibilities of our soul. But like, since our whole soul sensibilities were like erased from our memory, we get like really confused and like upside down and like unsure about which direction to go. And the truth of the matter is, we're just doing the best we can. A lot of people say like Earth is a school. I don't get that vibe at all. Like, Earth is like the laboratory. The school is the higher realms. Like, we learn in the higher realms. Like, that's where we do our coursework and everything else. But the school is the lab. It's like where we go to try to implement, like, and practice what we've learned. It's the laboratory. And you know what? Sometimes the experiments explode, like, in our face and stuff. But the truth of the matter is, like, we just do the best that we can. And afterwards, like, we have the opportunity to forgive all, and we get unlimited chances, and we all actually have a lot of laughs about the crazy stuff that we do on Earth when we return home to the higher realms. I know this is true because I remember, and I'm so grateful to like God, source, the universe, for allowing me to remember like these little snippets of time in the higher realms, because it just really helps me to understand what the heck is going on down here. Now, all of us who came here to the Earth plane, we're like the cosmic cowboys and girls, because like we all knew like Earth is the craziest place to go. Like, that's the honest truth. Like, this is one of the strangest places that you ever could go as a soul. There's a few reasons like why this is the case. One of them is time and entering into the illusion of time. That is nutso. But also like the fact that one thing that makes Earth like the craziest is that like many different souls like of different vibration are all here trying to live together, and there's like a million different states of consciousness that are all going on at once. And yeah, like even in the span of a lifetime, like you can shift your consciousness to 1,000 different places and stuff. And obviously, like from each state of consciousness, you're going to act and see things like really, really differently. And all of us make tons of mistakes. Like, they're not really mistakes, but all of us, here's what I'll say. All of us act in ways that go completely against, like, what our soul sensibilities are many times in every single lifetime. And if you get, like, really tense about it and, like, really harsh and, you know, like, about that, you're not going to enjoy the journey. But if you accept that, like, the earth plane is a mad and wild and strange place, which, honest to God, it really, really is. But we were here for that. Like, the people that signed up, the souls who signed up to come down here to earth wanted a challenge. You just got to accept that. Like, my soul wanted a challenge. Like, it's one thing to feel love or forgiveness or enthusiasm or health or vibrancy or wisdom or all these different, like, soul lessons, like, in harmonious, loving, calm, like, places in the multiverse. And it's another thing, like, when faced with something absolutely bizarre, like, right in front of your face, you know? Like, wow, like, to still have those soul sensibilities. And I think we should honor when we're, like, really challenged or stuck. Because if you find yourself, like, really challenged or stuck and you keep, like, falling into the same cycles, like, over and over again, that's a really good sign that, like, you are growing. Like, and when I feel like it's when we struggle that we're learning the most, and we're probably about to have a breakthrough, you know, for something that we've struggled with for lifetimes. And I think sometimes people, like, say, oh, I'm an old soul, and, like, what they're meaning to suggest is, like, maybe that they, like, have been through this before. And that's definitely true. And while there's many benefits to being, like, an older and more evolved soul, or at least having been to earth multiple times, there's also some potential issues with that. And one of them is, like, we can get really caught into certain ways of, like, coping with the earth plane, especially from, like, prior times on the timeline where, like, earth circumstances were different than they are now. And we may be being compelled from within our being to change these, like, really comfortable zones of habitus, like, for our soul. And what I love about spirit guides is everything. But, like, what I love about spirit guides is, like, they will give us unlimited chances. And I really believe, like many of you will know, at the end of a life, we usually experience, like, a life review where we get to see every single moment lived of our life and see how it impacted us and everyone around us. And I honestly think a lot of us will be laughing during those times as we see, like, the 1,000, 1,000,000 bajillion times that our spirit guides presented us, you know, whatever perfect circumstance it was that we needed to practice that soul sensibility, which we already know, but wanted to be challenged on. You know what I mean? Like, the whole thing is just so benevolent and beautiful. And no matter, like, what happens down here, everyone returns to their perfect place, like, in a loving realm that really is our home. And that's the worst thing that can happen to you here on earth, is that you end up back, like, in a way. And now I know there's many types of suffering, and honestly, you guys, like, I've experienced a lot of them. I really have, a lot of darkness and things, but, like, everybody goes back to the realm of love at the end and gets a chance to reflect on all of it and learn and grow and choose, if they want to try again. And there's something, like, really, really beautiful in that. So today I just wanted to remind everybody, it's okay to laugh at yourself. It's okay to laugh at other people who might be struggling, hopefully laughing with them, and just really have a sense of humor about what is going on. You know, this is an equal opportunity planet, and sometimes we see souls at, you know, very interesting states of consciousness or levels of evolution in very powerful positions on the planet and things like that. And I think, you know, sometimes the best state of mind that we can have is just, you know, good for you. Like, you know, this is an exciting thing to, like, watch, you know, unfold. And, you know, we can be happy that Earth is the way that it is, because this is a place where opportunity abounds. And it really is kind of like a circus, but it also is an exciting circus. And we all get an opportunity to really, like, have these, just, like, I was thinking of, like, a touchdown during a football game. Like, if we get it right, like, wow, like if we get it right, like all the guides and angels and everyone in the higher realms are just like cheering for us, because the conditions that we're working within here on this planet are sensational. So anyway, like, give yourself a pat on the back today, and just do your best. And when things get a little crazy, or people say or do crazy things around you, or it seems like the earth plane is becoming truly bizarre in all these different ways, it's okay to acknowledge that is, but like, you came here for this because you were feeling like, yep, I want this, like I want this challenge, and yeah, I think that a sense of humor can really be a mitigator of fears and anxieties and worries and regrets and guilt and all this kind of stuff as we navigate our journey. So remember to laugh today, remember to smile today, and yeah, I hope you all have a great day and enjoy yourself along the way, okay? Okay, big hugs to everybody, many blessings, and namaste.